Early on in my business, my daughter was working for me. She was in grade 4 and she was scheduling tweets and she was packaging up gifts that I was sending to my clients on a regular basis. And at one point, it was just too much with what she had going on in school and on her play schedule, as well as for the work that I needed to be done. There was a capacity issue that we were hitting, and I was going to have a conversation with her about this. So, as a mother talking to my fourth grader, this is a learning experience for both of us, but I wasn't going to be hard on her, but I still needed certain things to be done in the business. So I mustered all of the courage that I could find, and I really thought through being thoughtful so I didn't traumatize her forever on what I needed to say. And as soon as I geared up to have that conversation, she let me know, Mom, this isn't for me. Oh my gosh, she just quit on me. She quit on me. But it was the absolute best thing that could have happened because she identified the things that were not in her zone of genius and that were too much for her. But she also let me know what she could keep doing. And it was one of the first lessons that Lily had in business growth and strong communication. But it was also one of the first lessons I had in having hard conversations with people that you really care about. Recently, a client asked us if we could share a little bit more about how it works working with family because she observed that it was working well. And yes, I not only work with my daughter, but I feel like my team becomes family, clients I want to engage and treat like family. And I also work with my business partner, good friend, and became family. So, how does this work? I hear from a lot of people that working with family is either a disaster or it's dreamy. But there are some very specific things that we do to make this work. And again, whether it's team or family, I think these lessons apply across the board. So, recently I sat down with Joanna and Lily and we broke down 6 rules that you may want to think about if you're working with family or you just want to work well with your team. Rule number 1, we are flexible and we are adaptable. There's generally no hard line. Now, what do I mean by this? As leaders, it is important in business that we be flexible and adaptable because things are going to come up that we didn't expect. And we've got to be able to roll with that and adjust so we can get things back on track or keep them on track. I want the same thing with my team. So we flow with it. We've created a culture where, okay, we're going to have to pivot sometimes, and we're all going to be ready to do that. We dive in where we need to dive in, we get things done, and we are flexible and adaptable. Now, within that, we also respect and honor if you're on vacation, you're on vacation. I'm going to not bug you. If I'm on vacation, my team has the same respect and awareness for my time and what I am doing. So we are flexible, we are adaptable, but within that, we also try to be respectful of each person's responsibilities and what is going on in each person's life. You can imagine working with family. Every now and then, something's going to come up at a family dinner or on the weekends that we want to throw out there. Generally speaking, we don't actually dive into the work in that moment, though. We may just say in passing, hey, I just had an idea. Let's talk about this next week. Same thing if we're on vacation. We may have moments over coffee where something's really flowing or at breakfast, but generally speaking, that is family time. That is friend time. And there's a whole lot of other things going on in life that we want to engage in and talk about. So they're momentary blurs, but it is not an extended continuation, ongoing blurring of lines. They are not fully integrated in my world. And in fact, I have tried to integrate those things before, and it left me feeling like I never got a break and I was never fully present for the moments that matter in life as well as business. Rule number 2, clear roles and no micromanaging. I don't know about you, but I have an aversion to being a micromanager and I have an aversion to being micromanaged. In fact, I am so little of a micromanager. People have said to me in the past, I wish you'd micromanage me a little bit more. But we have a general rule on my team that you take ownership of what you are doing. You know what needs to be done. You are an expert. You are excellent. And you're a part of our team because we know that and we fully trust you. So there are clear roles and responsibilities, and we know when handoff points are. We know when my work stops, We know there are places I should not be going. We know when someone else's work begins, and vice versa. We want everyone operating in their zone of genius. Now, going back to being flexible and adaptable, rule number one, this absolutely will jump in places sometimes when all hands are on deck. We are running small businesses, so that adaptability is so important, but so are clear roles, because clear roles do not result in micromanaging. They actually result in trust being built. I know what you are supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. So when I go to bed at night here in Croatia, the team is actually still working, and I wake up to things being done. And that took some reps for me to be like, I don't have to be awake right now. Things are happening. You need to sleep, Amber. You need to rest. This actually started in Ethiopia, our first overseas work assignment for my husband. And I was doing work, and the time zone there is the same as it is here in Croatia, about 7 hours from the East Coast. And so I would stay up quite late, and that wore on me. But as I realized, wait, what are you doing? This is a me thing. That's not a team thing. They've got it. Everybody's clear. We have set this up well. You can go to bed, Amber. Everything across the board got better. So that clarity in roles and responsibilities isn't distrust. It's not because you don't trust someone. It's what makes trust possible. Rule number three, we treat our team like family. I know this gets a bad rap because you might treat your family differently. You want to pour into them, you want to nurture, but honestly, it's not good for business and it's not good for family if we differentiate in business. You have constraints in your business with your budget and with roles and responsibilities and the workload that needs to be done. And if family is coming into that equation and not on board with those constraints and the goals and the vision that you have, that's when we know they're not the right team member. So does that result in hard conversations with team sometimes? Team slash family? Absolutely. But if you don't have those hard conversations, both your family relationships and your business is going to suffer. And nobody wants that. So for us, what does this look like? We check in at the beginning of team calls to share and connect. Hey, how's it going? What are you up to? Anything new over there? Hey, I know that you were on vacation last week. How was it? Did you have a good time? Your kitchen's remodel's finally done. I saw on Instagram. Can we see it? Give us a tour. So we engage with our team just like we would family, because building that rapport helps you over time, because we want to have a good rapport with people that we are working with, especially if you're in a remote work environment. Because when challenges come up, if you don't have a good rapport, it's going to be harder to navigate them. In addition, when that rapport is built and people can bring their full selves to work, being who they are and sharing who they are, they'll be safer to express themselves, especially when it matters. I absolutely want people on my team, family or not, to be able to speak up and say when they see a different perspective. I want them to feel safe and comfortable to fully express themselves, express their concerns, express when they have a fresh idea that might actually get us better traction. Those things all happen when there is strong rapport and people feel comfortable expressing themselves. So from end to end, we want to build an environment that has strong relationships in place. That means that I also try my best to show up as my full self to the work environment as well. Joanna actually gave me a gift when we were having this conversation and breaking down the rules, and shared that, Amber, you are who you are in work, and you are who you are when we're hanging out personally, or I see you with your family. It's all the same person. Now, let's be real. I do not bring my saddest or my most stressed self to our team meetings. That's not necessarily productive. But my team absolutely knows when I'm down in the dumps. They can sense it. They know it. So I try and articulate it, so it's not the unsaid thing. We put it on the table, and then there it is. It is dealt with. We know we can all move forward with that in mind, because we know that what happens in life carries over to business, and business carries over to life. They are not isolated. So while I don't fully integrate them, I don't keep them fully separate either. And we need to be able to talk about it. This allows real work to get done. Rule number four, we have hard conversations when they're still easy. So ideally, if there's a challenge in the work environment, if there's a problem with your Facebook ads or the marketing campaign, you are talking about it early and often, not before it is unsolvable. Going back to that fourth grade conversation with Lily, I thought about it and I mustered up all my courage and I rehearsed and I role played with myself how I was going to have this conversation with her so I didn't ruin anything. She came to me and said, Mom, it's not working. And she taught me so much in that moment. And she was, of course, learning. She set the standard for communication in our relationship and in my companies. Don't wait. Have those conversations early. If you see something's off, ask, hey, are you doing okay? Hey, I noticed that that thing didn't get done again this week. How can I help you? What's going on here? Is there a system breakdown? That addressing things when it is not overwhelming and when it hasn't yet snowballed is going to make it easier to untangle. Similarly, communicate before it's needed. So if rule 4 is say the hard thing and have the hard conversations, rule 5 is be proactive. There was also a time in our working together where Lily was working at our companies, both our photography company with me and Joanna and the rest of our team, as well as in my consulting business slightly. And she was going to look for a corporate job. She wanted to try some different things. She had some goals. She wanted to experiment and succeed. And boy, did she ever succeed. But before that, she let me know, hey, I'm going to try this other thing. Hey, I'm starting to look. Hey, here's where I am in the process. So it was not a surprise. That is such a gift because we were able to navigate it and manage it and plan for it as a business. Now, I could get why a team member might be a little bit more reluctant to share those things proactively, and why family may be more inclined to do that and be open and transparent early on. But ideally, there is transparency with team members as well, so we can navigate whatever may come. Sometimes it's going to be a great move for a team member or family, and you got to support them either way. Sometimes you're going to support them, but it's still going to be really hard because it's going to have a real impact on your business. And sometimes it's the right thing for everyone. Lily got her corporate job and thrived in that. In fact, she was on the leaderboard and she was at the top of the leaderboard many times. She came back to work with us and also started working with a few other clients on marketing operations and in the director of operations role. Rule number 6. Yep, we're allowed to outgrow each other, and we say so. There was one point recently in the last year where Lily had a really cool opportunity come up. And I said to her, knowing what her capacity was and knowing the clients that she had and knowing the constraints within our business, I said, you have to quit me. So I was able to know, oh my gosh, looking at all of these options, ugh, and of course, in any situation, the relationship is bigger than the business. And again, it doesn't always mean that it's going to be great for you as a leader and owner to navigate. But we got to support people when they're evolving and growing and when opportunities emerge for them. And here's what I know about you. You are incredible at leading your company. So you're going to be able to navigate this. Challenges are going to come up. Great people are going to leave us, whether it's family or a core team member, and we're going to figure it out. But that trust and that openness is going to allow you to maintain the relationship so people may come back or refer business to you or refer other colleagues to you. So, with that, those are our 6 rules. Yes, for how we make it work working with family, but also how we make it work with great people that we get to work with across the board on our team. So after we shared this episode, this full episode, a client came back and said, wait, I need to know more. I need to know more specific words that you used and what you do when challenges come up in the business. So that's going to be our next episode. Stay tuned. I can't wait to share it with you. And in the meantime, remember, stay in it. You are right on time to be making the next move.